Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Oilers News and Rumors here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joining by Brian Swane. I mean, the Oilers, it's not been very good. The last game, at least, wasn't very good, and I thought it'd be good to react to that game. Either it's going to be an overreaction or the right reaction. I don't know. But Brian, what did you think about that 9-1 loss to the Avalanche? I mean, it's their worst loss in a long time. I know you did an article about the worst stats from that game. I mean, the biggest question is should fans panic after this 9-1 loss? I mean, it's very early in the season. That we've talked about it many times. The Oilers start slow, seem to be able to put it together, but this is a bad loss. So you should be a bit concerned about it. What do you think about it?
Yeah, I think, man, it's so tough. It's one game, right? So I don't think you want to blow it out of proportion, but I mean, it's a game like this that causes you to step back and take a look at how they've played for the first month of the season, and you kind of go, you know what? They've really, and I think it's fair to say they've really maybe only had like two really good games out of their first 16 games or so, which is a fifth of the season. So I mean, it's no small sample size. There's a long way to go, but I mean, so this in and of itself is, you know, it's a terrible loss. It's one of their, you know, it's literally is they're tied for their worst home loss in franchise history. So it's very, very, very bad.
Yeah,
but it is just one game. But like I say, in the grand scheme of things, I mean, this is not just it's not just one thing that's happened here. This is a team now that's not looked good for the first month of the season, and this just kind of brings it all into very sharp focus. So I don't know, you know, you are going to overreact to this, but I think it's like there's something not right here.
Yeah,
that's
for sure. And it's also against one of the best teams in the league, and if you're putting a measuring stick where that is, and the Avalanche have only lost one time in regulation. They are, I would say, pretty early on one of the Stanley Cup contenders. So, I mean, you're going into that game and you're like, well, see if you're competitive with them, and then you get blown out 9-1. It's not looking good, especially for a team that just went to the Western Conference Final 2 times here. So, I mean, going in, you'd hope that it would be a closer game.
Yeah, absolutely. And full credit to the Avs. Man, they look good. Like they really they earned that win. The score probably flattered them. I mean, that could have easily been like 10, 11, 12. When they had a goal called back too, they could have got the nice round 10. Yeah, the Avs have looked, I think they've of the, you know, from what I've seen so far, I would think that they probably look like you might have to say at this point they're the favorites. So I mean, full credit to them. And then the Oilers just yeah, if this is a measuring stick, then obviously they've got a long way to go. And, you know, you and I have talked a little bit in the last couple of times we've got together about, you know, do the Oilers, is it just a matter of them kind of needing to have some moment that wakes them up or they snap out of that funk? And maybe this is it. Or, as we've also talked about before, maybe they just don't have that this year. Maybe I said to a friend last night, I said, you know what? I mean, I don't know if this is a hot take, but maybe this team just isn't that good. Zach Hyman and Matthias Janmark are still, you know, it could be any game now they could return. We could see them as soon as tomorrow night when Columbus is in town. And certainly, if not, then probably for the big 7-game road trip they've got coming up. So they'll help, but maybe this team just isn't where it needs to be right now. And you know what? But if you need a wake-up call, you can't get anything more profound than this. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I would say this is rock bottom. I don't know much. You can't get much lower than this, I don't think. I mean, of course there is. I mean, you can get into double digits. You can lose much worse. But I would say it's probably should be a wake-up call. If it isn't, then there is a big problem. So, you know, going off of that, I mean, it might be multiple, but what do you think is the biggest problem with the Oilers right now? I mean, you could point to goaltending. We pointed to defense. We pointed they're not able to hold leads, all that stuff. But what do you think is the biggest thing that's kind of holding them back from being that team that we all know they can be?
Yeah, I mean, for the sake of this question, I guess we'll pretend that they are good enough right now. Let's assume that this is a team that still has it in them to get back to that Stanley Cup contender level. And I think the simple question is probably because, I mean, it's a team-wide thing. The goaltending needs to be better, the defense, but I mean, the defense has completely let them down. They're not scoring at all. They've only scored more than 3 goals twice this season, which is just crazy when you look at the offensive weapons that they have. They're not getting any support scoring anymore now. That was carrying them through the first, I would say, dozen games of the season. The last few games have pretty much just been McDavid and Draisaitl, and that's about it. So there's all these things, but if there was an overarching issue, and this I thought really, really reared its ugly head last night, it's just like they're just playing with lethargy. Maybe would be the best word I could describe it. I mean, you saw one of the big talking points that came out of last night's game is that a lot of people were saying, like, why isn't somebody just grabbing somebody or punching somebody, right? Yeah. Why, and regardless, I mean, that's a whole other conversation about where you stand on fighting in the game and whether that should be something that drives the team. But I think there definitely is this. It kind of just showed what this team's kind of mindset is, and the fact that just they were getting worked like that, and no one really wanted to step up and seem to do anything about it. Right? The response was no one was getting mad. They were just kind of like it was just almost like a shrug of the shoulders. And so I think that's kind of what I would say is just the biggest concern is their response to it. And this is not a team that is physical. They're not a team. They're not that kind of team, right? And they've shown the past couple years, and they haven't needed to be successful. But I think you need to see something from them that shows that, like, we recognize what's going on here. And we're not cool with this. And I didn't see it last night. And that to me would be the biggest concern.
Yeah, it's that pushback, right? I mean, we'll see what happens against the Blue Jackets. I mean, the Blue Jackets have been a pretty good team early on this season too. So they could be a pretty tough opponent as well. So it's like, they need to respond. I mean, they have to look a lot better for sure.
There, you know what? I mean, there really is no easy opponent for this team right now. They haven't really blown anybody out at all. And I mean, you know what? It's right there in black and white. You look at the standings. They're based on point percentage. They're, I think, bottom 5, 6, 7 teams in the league. They're just there's no measuring stick. I mean, they've got like the 4th worst goals differential in the league now. Like, there's not a single measuring stick that you can look at right now and say that this team is good at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it doesn't. I don't think it matters who they play, right?
Yeah.
I think if you're Columbus, heck, St. Louis. Can't beat anybody if they beat the Oilers last week. Like, you're looking at the Oilers on your schedule and you're saying, this is a game we can get.
Yeah. That's not the way it should be.
No, it's not.
Especially, twice at Western Conference finalists. And I mean, arguably, they're probably one of the Stanley Cup contenders coming into this season. So, I mean, again, early, but you get up to that quarter point, and I've said this many times in different videos, that I always look at that 20-game mark and you see trends and stuff like that, and it's not looking good, and they're closing in on that 20 games.
And this, of course, again, it's funny how it always comes up when we get together and talk, right? But it's that whole thing with how this team has that history of starting slow and being able to turn it around. And we're now heading into that big point. This has really been that point the last couple of years, is that long Eastern Conference road swing they usually go on in mid to late November. After Columbus, they have 7 games in a row on the road against a pretty formidable group of opponents.
Yeah.
So this is like, this could either bury them or this could be exactly what they need. And when they get back to Edmonton and, 2 weeks later, they could be looking a lot more like the team that people certainly hope they are. So, I mean, it is really funny how you mentioned that 20-game mark, but so many factors are kind of coinciding that this is going to be that point in the season, that period that really will tell the tale.
Yeah, we'll see. Final question on this, and I mean, there might not be immediate to this, but do you see any fallout? I mean, I'd either be trade. I mean, I don't know if they're going to make a trade or, surprise healthy scratch or, something like that to kind of kick them in the butt or something, but Do you see anything like that happening?
Not yet, I don't think. I don't think that there is extreme panic within the organization yet, and maybe that's the right approach. Maybe that is the right approach. They shouldn't be overreacting to it. But I think the big thing is they are waiting for Hyman to get back. I think is really that, and then see what happens. And to a lesser degree, Yanmar too. They haven't had their full. They haven't had their all their soldiers in the lineup yet, and be able to see what this team really looks like. And so I think that if something doesn't happen, if there's just not a spark after those two come back, then and we're still having this conversation in 2 weeks, I think something then will happen. But right now, I don't think so, and I think that's why is they're waiting to see what this team looks like with its full lineup envisioned.
100%. I think there'd be a bit of a panic move if you're doing something right now. I mean, it is. I mean, it's not like. I mean, the beginning of the season hasn't been good, but it's not like they're being blown out every game like this. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see in the next couple of weeks what happens. I mean, one thing I don't know if it's a big deal, but that they might be missing Corey Perry. I mean, Perry
no.
So well.
Absolutely. This is another.
Geez.
Yeah. This is another conversation that I was having last night, too. I think they absolutely do. On the ice, but in the locker room too. I think like his leadership presence. I don't think it's any acts. It's not a mere coincidence that when he arrived, they got to that next level of finally being able to break through and get to the Stanley Cup final. And he just scored again today. I think what's he got, like 7 or 8 goals now?
Yeah,
and he missed the first
7. Yeah,
and he missed the first 4 again. I mean, that would put him second on scoring on the Oilers. So they miss him dearly, and you would hope that when you bring a guy like that into your locker room, that he kind of rubs off on some of the other guys, and then when he moves on, that you have a new kind of Corey Perry who's learned from him that kind of emerges. But and I have no idea. I'm not in the locker room. I don't know, but you just don't get the sense especially when you watch a game like last night, because Corey Perry is that one guy who would have done that last year. Yeah. If they were getting worked, hammered 7-1, 8-1, 9-1, he's that one guy that would have grabbed somebody and just started throwing, because he's that guy. And that guy isn't there right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got 11 points in 10 games to start the season. So
as an old man, I love it. I love it, man. You could show that you could still do it after 40. So I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, he's 40 now, and I just turned 40. So it's great to see.
Welcome to the club.
He's still doing it, and I mean, there was talk hiring, right? I think it was a good decision. McKay's taking in the league right now because doing really well. And probably maybe at this point a mistake that the Oilers didn't bring him back. So we'll see how the Oilers do in the next few weeks, and actually just in the time before we get together on another video. But thanks, Brian, for coming on again and talking the Oilers. Hopefully we have some positive stuff to talk about in the next one. But until our next video, make sure you're checking out everything at thehockeywriters.com. We got great articles detailing this loss and all the stuff that's happening around the Oilers. But make sure you're checking all that out. And until our next one, we'll see you next time.